he was in District 52, which is our nearest neighbor in the LA County. He was a Division F director over there and did an excellent job. He got his first DTM in 2014. He got his second DTM a couple of months ago. He's got tremendous experience. You know those little awards they give at the district meetings, the triple stars, where you've had educationals and membership, and you get these triple star awards, and usually there's a handful of people that get those. He's had 5 of them. Wow. It's amazing. This man is full of experience, full of zest, full of knowledge, and I'm happy that he's our speaker here today. Join me in welcoming John Murray.
Thank you, Wayne. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. How many of you, if I said just say yes without any reason, would actually say, yes, I'll do that? Katie will. We have people who will do it. Alan, of course. I know a lot of you would. I want to tell you that I want to commend both Vaughn and Dan, because both of them said yes when many others, probably most others, would have said no. That's an important lesson for all of us to realize, because it's when we say yes that we make the greatest accomplishment in our lives and also the greatest contribution to others. Now, when we were first Toastmasters, we made a pledge, and that said, who can recall what that said? It said you really must just say yes to anything and everything that you were asked. You will become an officer, you'll do this, you'll engage new members. You'll just say yes. Exactly. When I joined Toastmasters, before I even joined Toastmasters, I visited as a guest, and I started to set up the room as Sergeant-at-Arms. That Sergeant-at-Arms hadn't shown up that evening. So before I was even a Toastmaster, I was voluntold by the founder of the club that I was going to now set up the meeting room. Well, it's an important lesson because I realized the value of something that was going on, the meeting room being set up, and how important it is to early and help contribute to the club. My founder, mentor of this club at the time was 84 years old. I wasn't going to let an 84-year-old woman set up the room when I'm a young man that can do this very easily. So I had pride. Well, I got voluntold a lot. I know probably a lot of us feel as though we're officers in our club. Whatever we're doing was because we were voluntold. And I reluctantly said yes to things. I became the Sergeant-at-Arms. I became the Vice President of Membership. I became the Vice President of Education. And I didn't always want to do those things. But I said yes. And I said yes for a reason. I knew that when I said yes, that important things happened. I remember when I was a child, my dad had enrolled me in softball. And I didn't want to be in softball. I was afraid. I was afraid of one major thing. Failure. Embarrassment. That I wasn't going to be able to hit the ball as well as the other kids. So I said no. I stayed home when all the other kids were out playing softball. I suffered a far bigger and greater embarrassment and failure by doing that. My dad said to me afterward, not that I was a coward and run me down, but he said something that I've held dear to this day. And he said that a coward dies 1,000 deaths, but a hero dies but once. I realized that if you say yes, if you do those things, even those things that are challenges in your life, even if they're difficult, that you will, even if you fail, even if you suffer embarrassment, that you will learn something and you will take with you far greater than you would have if you had done nothing. Because I guarantee you, if you do nothing, you will learn nothing. I've been a member of a number of clubs. I'm currently an officer in 5 clubs out of the 5 that I'm a member. I hold 6 officer positions. I am at the CLI for a reason. I got 5 Triple Crowns last year and 5 the year before. I'm figuring this out. I work a 60-hour week. I spend about 40 hours in Toastmasters. I'm a president of my homeowners association. I must spend at least 40 hours in that. I sleep maybe 1 hour a night. But anyway, if you were to take this all total, they would say it's not possible. How can you do all of this? Well, the thing is, it is all possible. We all tell ourselves when we're asked to take on a position that we don't have the time, we don't have the resources. I'm busy. Well, I'm busy too. And if we don't take on these tasks, what is going to happen to our clubs? If we don't take on these tasks, what is going to happen to ourselves? There is an old axiom that 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. Well, imagine if those 20% didn't say yes. That's what I'm asking you to do. What if those 20% decided, hey, we're not going to do that stuff either. We're not going to work. We're not going to say yes. Now you're down to 0% of the people doing, I don't know, figure it out, but it's not good. Well, the thing that's going to happen is your clubs are going to crumble if 0% of the people are involved, engaged. If your work is that same way, what is going to happen to your work, your business? What's going to happen to your people? If 0% of the people want to actually be engaged, say yes. This is one of the most important things that we really need to understand, is that if we don't become the core members of our club, we are not going to have a club. We really are the backbone of everything that we're doing in our Toastmasters lives. I know that I come to these CLIs and here in District 33, District 52, and District 1, and I quite often see the same handful of people. And the same in my club. There's still the same handful of people that are really the backbone of the club. And I know that this is a truism, that the greater the core of an organization, the larger in size, the more successful it will be. And if you only have a handful of people in this organization that are really doing the work, how strong is it going to be? It's one of these organizations that needs all of you to take the next step. And whatever you're doing in your Toastmasters life, if you're the Sergeant at Arms, then take on the next level. If you're the VPM, take on that role of VP and ultimately president of the club. How many of you, don't raise your hand, but how many of you are afraid of the next level in your Toastmasters? Officer level. I know I was. I'm not going to admit that to you. I was. But I took it on. And when I got there, I realized that I was able to do some very important things. And I contributed to my club. And ultimately, those things became much easier. And those roles of VPE, which everybody says is the hardest role, became easy. If you've done it 7, 8, 9 times, it becomes easy. But when the magic of Toastmasters really starts to happen is this. You'll get into this leadership role and you'll realize a couple of things will happen to you. One, your communication skills will soar. Lance Miller, who is the world champion of public speaking, told me that he would never have become the world champion of public speaking in 2005 if he had not become a leader in his club. That's a big statement. leadership and communication are intertwined. You'll become a better communicator as a leader, but then you'll find out something else will happen. That those moments of leadership will offer moments of giving. It's what Dana was talking about. It's the ultimate giving of love to your fellow Toastmaster. You start mentoring. You start teaching those who are coming behind you as Toastmasters the skills that you've learned from the mentor who came before you. And you start seeing the difference you're making in other people's lives. And then this now starts to take on a very important thing. You start to realize that you are having an impact on your life. Now, how many of you would like to leave this earth and have no impact on anybody? Not many people. Now, how are you going to make an impact on your life if you're just going to say, no, 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 I'm sorry, I'm busy. No. You've got to take that chance and say yes, because that is when the real magic happens in your life. I mentored somebody who was suffered from a childhood of a speech impediment. She could not say a lot of words without stuttering and stammering, and she wanted to be a professional speaker. I pushed her gently into contests. I pushed her into her biggest fear gently into a table topics contest. Her biggest fear is speaking impromptu. Now, she can read something quite well, but if she were to start talking impromptu, her speech impediment starts to exacerbate. She got up in her first contest, and she was absolutely amazing. It was like magic was coming outside of her. And then she went into the next level, and the next level. She ultimately won the district championship. She stuttered only once in all of those levels. And that was actually probably a good thing, because she was so good that nobody would have understood her story of stuttering and stammering if she had not done it once. That's what amazing things can happen. She is now a professional speaker. In the October issue of Toastmasters magazine, she's on the cover. Go back and look at her. Her name is Janine Ledford. She is one of my inspirations in my life. It's one of the people that I felt as though I have touched. And when you feel like you've touched somebody, you get ignited in Toastmasters. When you maybe feel like you've been in Toastmasters a while, you have done this and done that, and you're looking for a cause, a reason to really be involved in Toastmasters and make a difference in yourself and others. You start looking at those moments when you have touched somebody, and you've seen somebody grow beyond their wildest dreams. Now you have to go back to your club. And you have to institute, I believe, a very important lesson in everything. To just say yes. And I use this in my clubs. And I built a number of clubs from a matter of 4 or 5 members to over 30. With the help of others. Not by myself, with the help of others. But we've done it with this concept of just say yes. People say, I've never been an evaluator. I'm not going to evaluate. Just say yes. There are people who go up and evaluate, and they have never done it. They feel as though they're afraid to do it. They get up and do it, and then they win Best Evaluator. They learn a sense of confidence. They don't want to be Toastmaster. I've never been the Toastmaster before. Just say yes. Become a Toastmaster for the year. Do all of these things, and you'll see that people will grow. I don't want to give a next speech. I don't know what to talk about. Help me. Be the mentor that they need. Ask them what they're passionate about. And help them with their speech. Just say yes. When you find out how powerful those 3 words are, you'll hear people within your club actually saying, when you ask them, will you give a speech next week? Just say yes. He will. I know, because I'm going to hold you to it. Toastmasters leadership is an important part of your Toastmaster journey. Today, you are here in Toastmasters Leadership Institute learning to become a better leader, learning to become a better communicator. You're going to touch people in their lives. You're going to make a difference. You might not realize it now, but someday somebody's going to come up to you and they're going to thank you. They're going to thank you for the things that you have done for them. They're going to thank you for the changes that you have made in their lives. And when that happens, you're going to understand the real power of Toastmasters and those 3 words. Just say yes.